Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's been another crazy year with a crazy amount of Pokemon cards being produced. Here's some stats for you. I'm just going to leave this up on the screen for the moment and talk to you about it a little bit. So one of the most important ones, and it's not up here, but it shows 64.8 billion Pokemon cards so far being produced. The big one though, the last financial year, and this runs off a Japanese financial year, there was 11.9 billion Pokemon cards sold. So that is end of March 2023 to end of March 2024. So the Japanese financial year, that's up, just so you know, 22.8% on the previous year. So March 22 through to March 23. So we seem to be seeing growth again in the Pokemon card world. Now, this whole video, of course, and this whole channel is really based around Pokemon card investing. So I want to give my thoughts and opinions on how these massive numbers are actually going to impact us as Pokemon card, not so much collectors, but definitely investors in this video. That's what this channel is all about. So that's what we're going to have a discussion about in today's video. So 11.9 billion, up 22.8%, 64.8 billion Pokemon cards produced to date. Now, this number is a bit of a hard one. I don't know how exactly, first things first, I don't know how exactly accurate it is. I mean, yes, we know the Millennium Print Group now has been taken over, I shouldn't say taken over, but owned by, Nintendo or the Pokemon Company International. And, there's multiple countries these cards come from. The data and getting it accurate, you would presume would be pretty difficult. And also, does this number of 64.8 include Wizards of the Coast cards? And my thoughts are almost, no, I don't think it would. And maybe that's really, really hard to tell. It's funny, we all see how much Fossil, Jungle, base set, even first edition base set that still pops its head up. And in this whole culture we've had lately of live streams and rip and ships and people financially, backing themselves on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and opening packs and vintage pack openings, of course, it's like, how much more of it can be out there? And the bigger question is, how much more of it must have been produced in the first place? Pokemon was so popular back when it first got released. That Gen 1, and it just proves itself time and time again, particularly with Pokemon 151 from Scarlet and Violet era. Just how many people come back into the hobby just because of that set, just because of the original 151. It holds so much weight, and I don't think we can underestimate how many Pokemon cards were produced from, those early Wizards of the Coast days. And I would be highly surprised, and maybe there's an estimate thrown into the mix, but I'd be highly surprised if this 64.8 billion includes Wizards of the Coast print runs. Surely that data would be extremely, extremely difficult to find out. So let's delve in a little bit more on this. 11.9 billion cards, up 22.8% on last year. What does that mean as a Pokemon card investor? And I agree with the sentiment of, a few other people that are in the investing hobby and the conversations I have via, email, predominantly email, but sometimes on WhatsApp and a few other different places where I chat to similar people that have, pretty strong sealed positions like myself. And, that's what I advocate to you guys as an investment, picking up sealed Pokemon Center Elite trainer boxes, but for the most part, booster boxes as an investment vehicle to make money off. And the fun side of it, the fun hobby. I also collect as well. I collect singles and I collect Elite trainer boxes. If they go up in value, great. If they don't, they're an awesome display piece. I don't care. But my investment side comes from predominantly booster boxes. Anyway, I'm in agreement with a lot of other content creators in the space and people that I chat to in regards to the fact of how quickly the hobby's shifted. And you might have noticed this even from 3 years ago or 4 years ago. The whole premise of opening packs, whether it's NBA packs, Pokemon packs, One Piece packs, like whatever TCG you're looking at, but let's focus or hone in on Pokemon, is the landscape's even changed over the last 2 or 3 years. There's this massive, massive shift to a culture of ripping and shipping. And people just ordering so many cases of booster boxes or Elite trainer boxes or booster bundles. And people getting in as a community and just enjoying the opening process together. There's some huge personalities that do it. Like my channel, of course, doesn't get involved at all. Like I don't get involved. I'm lucky to open Pokemon card packs once every 6 months or 12 months on the channel. I think I'll do it for 20,000 subscribers. We'll just open a booster box. We'll choose something and open it. But it's not my forte. Like I keep it all sealed as my investment vehicle in booster boxes. But the culture has changed with it, and it's changed so rapidly. People want to be part of that rip and ship culture. You know, there are so many Pokemon card booster packs being opened on the daily. That up 22.8% when we thought last year couldn't get any crazier. Look at this year. You know, the amount of 151 packs being ripped. Surging Sparks is probably the best example. There is so much Surging Sparks being bought up and ripped on the daily. There's so many cases of booster boxes, individual booster boxes being bought off. Just look at the numbers on TCG Player and eBay, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. Like, you know, the prices for that are, what are we pushing? Probably 170, 175 a booster box now for Surging Sparks. Like, it's just gone bonkers, and that's because, you know, yes, a lot of people or some people are buying it to keep it sealed, but people have realized it can become a business proposition for themselves. You know, if you're on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, or if you're using a platform like YouTube to buy booster boxes and create yourself a community of people that will want to tune into you to watch you open booster boxes and then on-sell those packs to those people, they're essentially paying for you purchasing the booster boxes or the booster box case or the 20 booster box cases that you've bought. And you get the fun of essentially opening cards for a living. Like, how good's that? And whether you profit much at all, whether you profit $1 a pack, you know, that means $36 a booster box. And hey, look, maybe some people do, maybe some people don't. I don't know. I'm not involved in that industry. The point I'm trying to get at, and I'm certainly not throwing any shade at anyone that does, good on you. If I could do it, I would. If I could open Pokemon card booster packs and make money off it and do it for a living, I probably would. How cool is that? But the whole idea behind this argument of, you know, people throwing money at content creators to open packs and feel like part of a community, which is so good, and that maybe community member or opener profiting off it and therefore outsourcing just to buy more packs to rip and ship, essentially, that's where the culture's changed. There are so many booster packs and booster boxes being bought up and opened on the daily. Yes, I agree, there's more than ever people keeping it sealed, but from an investment standpoint, I guess the argument I'm trying to make, if you're a sealed Pokemon card investor, particularly booster boxes, I wouldn't stress too much if you feel that it's up 22.8%. If you feel 11.9 billion, and that's where that counter argument to mine comes in, you know, oh, we're in that junk wax era. It's a different side of the coin. It's a different culture. It's a different generation almost. Well, it is, isn't it? You know, the amount of packs just being ripped on the daily, I would not be concerned, and I'm not concerned one little bit. Hey, the more packs that get ripped open and shipped out to people, the better. And you know what? Then people can say, oh, well, look, you know, you're going to have so many raw copies on the market of the big chase cards. You're going to have so many PSA 10 copies on the market. And then you go, well, hold on. Have you seen what Rayquaza VMAX and Umbreon VMAX is still doing from Evolving Skies? I don't even know how many PSA 10 copies there are of that card, but it must be nudging 10,000 or more. But as long as there's demand, and at the moment there's so much natural demand for the hobby, as long as there's demand for that card, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's simple supply-demand metrics. Like, if you've got one PSA, or let's say you've got 5 PSA 10 copies of a card, which is making it incredibly rare. Like, it can't get much more rare than that. But there's only 3 people in the world that want it. Its price isn't going to be there. If you've got 10,000 copies of a card, like an Umbreon VMAX PSA 10, but there's 1 million people in the world that would love to have it as part of their collection, well, that's where the demand comes from. So I'm not stressed from a Pokemon card investing world or standpoint, even if you're in singles, and I don't invest in singles. I buy singles because, you know, just to buy the ones that I like, essentially. I don't buy singles to invest in them because they go like this. I think they're too volatile. There can be absolute gems. Like, we all know full well that Umbreon VMAX has proven to be an absolute gem, and its price has crazy. And there's still amazing demand for it. It bestows belief, doesn't it? So, that side of it, singles doesn't worry me. But if you're a sealed Pokemon card investor, which, yeah, look, I look at singles a bit on this channel, but predominantly we focus on the sealed side of it, I would not be stressed one little bit. In fact, I would almost be happy. There's the growth that you see and the growth that you'll continue to see, in my opinion, from the rip and ship culture, the amount of channels, Instagram Reels, TikToks, where people can monetize themselves from opening Pokemon card packs is only going to mean good things for us sealed investors. Not only does it mean that our products will become more scarce, as in more and more will get opened and there'll be less and less on the market, therefore, supply is dwindling. The counter side of it is the demand for it's going to be up. Because when you think about it, one day, of course, you're going to have to sell these products to capitalize on your profit. It's great to sit back and go, I've got a cupboard worth, with $50,000 of booster boxes inside it. Well, you're only going to realize, and I spent $20,000 on it. I'm not saying that's what I do. I'm just giving you an example. The only way you're going to realize that $30,000 profit is if you sell them. And that's going to be a pretty arduous task. You've got to find buyers that want to buy those booster boxes up. And maybe you might even need a platform to be able to sell those on, whether it's eBay or creating a name for yourself or a Discord or whatever it might be. One day you're going to have to sell them to realize the profit on it. And that's where the demand comes from, because in the past, typically someone buying your booster box was probably just one of two reasons. They wanted it as part of their collection because they thought, how nice would it be to have an older booster box? Yes, I might have to pay $500 or $1,000 or $3,000 or $10,000 for a first edition fossil booster box, for argument's sake. But I just want it as part of my collection. Geez, it would be nice to have that piece of history sitting as part of my collection. So that was one of your buying base. The second buying base was just that person that wanted to relive the nostalgia. And whether they did that with mates at home or by themselves or whatever it might have been, they were buying the box, whether it was a $500 box, $1,000 box, $3,000 Plasma Storm box, or $10,000 first edition fossil set, just to relive that nostalgia. To smell the cards and get that feel of what they used to be like when they were a kid. You can't put a price on that. And that was sort of your buying base. But now there's this huge new third buying base that's come into the mix. And that is the rip and shippers, the streamers, the YouTubers. They're the ones that'll go back and they'll buy up booster boxes from the past because they can monetize it. They can sell off the packs, cover the cost of purchasing the box, and get some sort of revenue off it. Maybe they may even make a tiny bit of profit off each pack. And then they're making, sort of AdSense revenue if they're streaming on YouTube. Or I don't know exactly how TikTok's monetized because I don't really go on there much, but maybe they're doing little snippets of their openings on TikTok, and each of those snippets, or maybe their best pulls, and they go on TikTok and they're making money off, TikTok from getting thousands of views on there, or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of views on there. So from a Pokemon investing world, I would not be concerned whatsoever with these massive amounts of numbers. The Pokemon Company International isn't stupid. They're creating these numbers because the demand's there. And the demand's there because in some ways, not only do we have, like I said, that nostalgic feeling of people opening Pokemon card packs, kids still opening them, but we've got this whole new culture that's really rising. And I don't think it's slowing down. This TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, that short, fun, fast little dopamine rush, I don't think that's slowing down at all. I wouldn't be surprised if the next Japanese financial year we see these numbers up again. But from an investment standpoint, I'm just going to tell all you guys and girls not to be concerned about it. In fact, I would rather that natural surge in demand than the complete opposite, Pokemon dropping off a cliff and less cards being produced. That just shows how strong the hobby and how strong the IP is going. I'm super stoked for it. Don't be concerned. Your investment, particularly if it's sealed and it's a booster box, is going to be perfectly safe and it'll go up in value. I'm Michael. This is PokeOz, and I'll catch everyone next time. Oh, before we go, don't stop the video. Shout out to the sponsor. I'll put you early in the video next time. The Shiny app. If you haven't got it, please download it. I'll leave a link in the description for it. It's a great app. The coder, Cody, is absolutely phenomenal. He does a fantastic job in it. So it's an app you can download to put in your whole collection, singles and sealed. When you have it, or if you do have it, please update it. If you don't have it, download it. If you do have it, update it. There's a sweet new update. When you search for a product now, in the search tab, you'll see you can filter by set now. It'll go newest set to oldest set for Pokemon. So you'll have Surging Sparks at the top. Then you can filter by price, so you can see the top hits in the set, which is awesome if you're someone like me. I love to look at what the top hits are going for. I like to see how they're trending. It'll show you a full trending graph, data on pricing for sealed and singles, resets daily. And it's across multiple data sources from TCG Player and eBay and price charting. So, the pricing on there is going to be super, super accurate. It'll show you the gains you get from your whole collection. And it's a belter of an app. So I urge you to download it. Take two. I'm Michael. This is PokeOz, and I'll catch everyone next time.